Welcome to Sightseeing Japan, the podcast where we explore the land of cherished memories. I'm Paul Bresson.
And I'm Jason Nealing. Cherished memories.
Yeah.
That's one of your better ones.
Thank you.
Yeah. I do cherish the memories that we've made together, Paul. You know, the older I get, the more I think about just how blessed I feel to have such a good group of friends and such a great buddy that I can travel with. A lot of friends, they can't travel together well. You know what I mean?
Yes, I absolutely know what you mean.
And despite the incidents on our last trip, I think we travel really well together.
I agree.
I just have so many cherished memories, as you said, about our trips, and I hope we get to make many, many more.
Yeah.
And I find myself getting real cheesy when, when we're together and we got the whole group of friends. It's like, you guys, I just want to let you know how much I love all of you and how thankful I am to have you in my life.
So I just got back from vacation to Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah. Paul, I'm sorry. I forgot to ask you how your trip went.
It was fantastic. Although I will say there were moments where I was like, this would be more fun if Jason was here.
Oh.
I went to Universal Studios.
Yeah.
And I saw the new Mario Land.
Oh.
It was cool.
Is it similar to the one in Japan?
Yes.
Nice.
You walk through the tunnel and then just boom, you just see it. And it's like you're in a Mario game.
That's really cool.
The main ride is a Mario Kart themed ride. So that was very up my alley and I enjoyed it a lot. Even though Ken beat me.
So that's like the Japan one where you're in the cart and you get to steer and all that?
Yeah, you shoot shells.
Yeah.
The aiming is based on where you're looking.
Oh.
You get a headset on and you get to look around and whatever you're looking at, your shells fire at.
So it's not like pupil tracking, it's like tracking the angle of your head?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And wasn't there like a holographic screen kind of thing right in front of you where you see what's going on?
There are screens like in the background as you're moving along the track that show things, but I think you're also seeing things in your little headset too.
What kind of headset do you have?
You put on this little hat and then like the ride has a thing that clicks into it. So it just kind of hangs a few inches in front of your eyes. It's
weird.
It's clear, but it also projects things.
Interesting.
Yeah. Huh. But it was cool.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Yep. I went to the beach, got some sun, got a little burned. Saw my friends.
Santa Monica Beach?
Venice. The Venice boardwalk up to almost Santa Monica and back.
Cool. Has it changed much?
The beach hasn't
at
all.
The boardwalk, I mean?
No, it's
Same
almost
old.
exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, should we just get right into it? I think we got a lot to talk about. I feel like this is going to go on because when we start just talking about what we like about Japan, we just go on forever.
The one thing I was going to ask you before we got into it is I'm not sure if this one like took you 15 minutes on your notes. We're just like, I got a huge list of things I like and a few things I don't. Or if you like reminisced for hours about all your memories to come up with this.
I reminisce all the time about our trips, I honestly like pull up the videos that we made or the slideshows of the pictures. Sometimes I just like put on some music and just watch the slideshow. Is that weird?
No, I think that's cool.
I don't know. My time in Japan is just like some of the best times of my life, and I like to think about that. And putting together my notes for this was pretty quick. I mean, I think most of it we're just going to be talking. I'm just going to say whatever comes to mind, and if things get weird, so be it, Yeah,
I mean, these are just our own personal opinions. They don't really represent anything in reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about Japan, and then I just started thinking about my trips. Like, where did I go? What did I do? And then started flowing.
Yeah. I don't know. I had to spend a little more time, I guess, thinking about things that you might not miss about Japan.
Yeah,
like,
that
I don't
section
focus
was a
on
little
that.
harder. Yeah. And most of the things I don't like, I'm struggling with the English here. I don't like them less than I do like the good things.
Most people don't know that English is not Paul's first language.
Yeah. What is my first language?
Polish, believe it or not.
I guess what I'm trying to say is the good outweighs. Yes, there are some bad things, but the good very much outweighs the bad.
Yeah.
But I think you all know that.
Well, I guess we've been dancing around the topic, but we should just say what it is probably in case the listener that's hearing this did not see the title of the episode.
Yeah, maybe it autoplayed.
It's possible. Some people, they just turn on the podcast starting at episode 1 and they listen for the next 30 days straight. I don't actually remember how many days of content we have at this point, but it's a lot.
I would guess we're at around 150 hours would be my guess. 140, 150 hours. We had some short ones at the start, and we've been going over an hour pretty normally lately.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there. Anyway, so today we're talking about things you'll miss about Japan. But then there's a parenthetical after that, and also some things you won't miss about Japan. We're going to talk about our favorite things about Japan and the things that
can be slightly frustrating or not perfect.
Yeah.
Before we really get into it on this episode, I just want to take a moment to remind everyone that we are a listener-supported podcast. We do have a Patreon that we do bonus content on that you can go check out. The link will be in the show notes. But on the Patreon website, we also have some itineraries that we have created. You do not have to be a Patreon member to purchase these. But we just came out with a new one. Well, we came out with 3 new ones before this season. But I want to talk about Hiroshima briefly today because I'm really excited for this one. We created a 3-day Hiroshima itinerary that touches all the historical aspects of the city and also the beautiful Miyajima Island that we mentioned as one of the 3 scenic views of Japan in the last episode. And then we found a few hidden gems in Hiroshima as well. And we write down some context for every place you're visiting so you can really fully understand why it's such an important place. And we give info on opening hours, cost, links on Google Maps, and we plan out the day in the most logical travel way we can possibly make it. So we try to do as much work as we can for you in the planning with these.
I think they're all fantastic itineraries, all the ones that we've made, and I wish I had something like that for my trips to Japan.
Agreed. So if you want to check those out, go head to our Patreon store and take a look. We'd very much appreciate all the support that we get.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Well, Paul, I put together my notes kind of thinking about the beginning of the trip and going through to the end. So first thing that came to my mind was, man, that plane ride is rough.
Yes, agreed.
I do not miss the plane ride.
Yes. For us, it's 14-ish hours.
I thought it was more like 12.
I think it's 12 one way, 13 and a half the other way or something.
Sure. My question is 2025. Why don't we have teleportation yet? Why can't I just wake up, walk through a portal, be in Japan?
If we had a teleporter, would you really want to go through it?
If it got me to Japan in a split second? Or are you thinking it wouldn't be the real you on the other side?
Yeah, are you trusting that? It's putting all your brain waves back in place the right way?
I would trust the scientists, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not what this episode is about.
Yes.
But really, I don't know. Do you have anything good to say about the flight? The one thing I was thinking is, okay, having no responsibility is kind of nice. You get all those shows and movies to choose from. You get people feeding you every couple hours.
Yeah.
And the anticipation is kind of nice. You get to look forward to landing, and it's exciting.
Sure. I mean, I like the anticipation, before I get on the plane more than I like it when I'm on the plane.
Yeah.
The first 5 hours are fine. You got your book, you got your podcast, you got your stuff. But I start getting real sore after about 5-6 hours. And from there, it's not fun.
It depends where you're coming from in the world, too, of course. We're coming from the Midwest United States.
Right.
So,
people coming from Europe are laughing. 13 hours? That'd be nice.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe I should just throw a tip in here. because you might be tempted to sleep through as much of that flight as possible. If you're coming from the US, I would recommend you don't do that. I would say just stay awake until that first night that you're in Japan. Try to go to sleep, at least in the evening, your first night in Japan. It'll really help you adjust to the jet lag, I think.
Yeah, if you could make it to like 8 p.m. that first night and then just sleep, that's always worked for me.
Yeah. Okay, so you get to Japan, you get off the plane. You're probably going to be taking a train pretty quick. And the trains are something I very much do miss because, especially now that I'm a little bit further from my workplace in this new house, I have to drive even longer every morning to get to work. And I so wish I could just get on a train. It's so awesome being able to get around like anywhere, not even just within a city, but the whole country. You can get anywhere you could want to go really quickly. And Japan's trains are amazing.
Yeah. The public transit goes almost everywhere. And it's so reliable. It's on time. It's clean.
There are so many positive adjectives for it.
Yes. Affordable.
Quiet.
I like the orderly boarding where everyone waits to the side to let all the people get off the train instead of like everyone just slamming into each other in a free-for-all.
It just works so well. It's a system that's just super efficient and everybody like knows what they're supposed to do. Like here, public transit is like, it feels like something bad is going to happen.
The public transit around here isn't busy enough that I like have a problem getting on or off the train. But where I get it is like elevators. I feel like every time I try to get on an elevator or try to get off one, like someone's just walking into it without looking.
Paul,
drives me nuts.
My fists are clenched because I cannot stand that. I can't believe some people just can't allow people to get out of the elevator before they start stomping
They
in
couldn't
there.
imagine that someone was on the elevator before them.
Oh man, are we going to get real upset in this episode?
We got to stop talking about here, start talking about Japan. Yeah. You got more positive things to say? Because I got a couple negatives.
Well, another thing that I miss about the trains is the sounds related to the train experience. Like the little jingles that they play for all, they play them when a train arrives, they play them when a train leaves.
Yeah.
All these jingles, and like, you might not even think that much about them when you're in Japan, but then when you get home and you hear that again, it's like, oh, I miss being in Japan, And like, they're so popular, those sounds, and they're such an integral part of that experience that you can buy little souvenirs that play the little jingles.
And just the experience of watching the train culture. Like, watch somebody be sleeping on the train for 20 minutes, and then you get to a stop and you hear the little ding, ding, dong, ding, and they like bolt up and get off the train, and it's just like wakes them up somehow.
Yeah.
Or watching all the train otaku taking pictures of the new Shinkansen coming by. See them all lined up at the end of the platform. It's kind of fun.
I see some people sometimes with like really fancy cameras at the train platform. I also kind of like people watching, just looking around on the train or looking around at the ads and reading those. I talk about how it's fun having a little bit of Japanese knowledge and being able to decipher some of these signs. And sometimes they have little screens playing ads too. Those are kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Just a good experience.
The train ride's not the most exciting thing about Japanese life, but I mean, it's really an insight into the daily life in Japan. Like, that's the daily life is riding the train.
For so many millions of people, that's
like
just something that happens every single day.
What are people reading or what are they watching? Like, what are they doing to entertain themselves on their daily commutes?
Yeah, I remember watching you always going around the train tapping people on the shoulder. What's that you're reading there? Tell me about it. Where do you work? Where are you going?
No, I just silently creep up and look over their shoulder.
Yeah. I was meaning to talk to you, Paul. You really got to stop that thing where you like sit down next to a pretty girl and then pretend to fall asleep and kind of lean up against her. It's not cool, man.
I would never.
I know. Except for that one time when you accidentally, wink, wink, got trapped in a women's only car, right?
Yes, it was an accident.
Yeah.
And I left pretty quickly.
I believe you. So what are some things that you won't miss about trains? Maybe people coming up next to you and sitting down and pretending to fall asleep on your shoulder, like real creepy like?
No. I crave the human touch. So
I understand.
I lean back on them.
Nice.
I don't like, at times, especially if you're in the big cities, the crowds. If you're trying to take a train at 5 p.m. in Tokyo, it's a fun experience the first time you do it. I'm getting crammed on like a sardine. The fifth time, it's like not very fun.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in a few situations where I've been in a train that's like just super hot and stuffy and like you're
Yes.
surrounded by people and you gotta, you're trying to balance and you're holding on to this thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's not
It can
not
be
fun,
uncomfortable. Yeah.
but I don't want to, like, I feel like some people get the impression that happens all the time. Actually, get this, at work recently, one of my coworkers actually started listening to the podcast and he was telling one of our new employees about the podcast. And then they like called me because they were training together. Anyway, we all were on a call together and the new employee was like asking me about the trains. And I feel like he had the impression that like that happens all the time, that you're just getting shoved in there. And I was like,
yeah.
I mean, 95% of the time it's like a super great experience and you're not
Right.
shoved in there.
Even Shinjuku Station at rush hour, like you got to pack in there, but they're usually not like pushing you
Yeah.
onto the train.
I don't even really pay attention to like when rush hour is, but I don't often get in that situation,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think you hit the other thing I don't like. Is just the temperature, the weather, because it can be kind of cold on the train platform. So you're like bundling up a little bit, and then you get on the train and it's crowded, and you've got your thick sweater on, and you just start sweating.
Or even in those big train stations when you have to walk through underground and it's like you got your winter coat on, but there's so many people down there that it gets so warm.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I honestly, I've talked about how my favorite time of year to go to Japan is in the fall, but I still spend a lot of the time sweaty.
Yep. Well, you're moving around. That can happen.
Yeah. I have some other complaints about, well, not necessarily complaints, but things that I don't miss. I don't miss being the dumb foreigner that's trying to go through the wrong gate at the train station.
Sure.
Like there are times when, I don't know, things just get mixed up. You try to go through the gate and it beeps at you and you have
Right.
to go to the manned, desk and be like, hey, I messed up somehow. Can you fix it?
Yeah. I mean, we're very seasoned Japan travelers, but we still run into that occasionally.
Once in a while.
I forget what station we were at. We were at some rural station on the last trip, and we thought we bought a ticket, but we needed we needed 2 tickets.
Because there's like the fare ticket and then there's the add-on, like Limited Express or whatever.
Something like
Rapid.
that. And it's not always clear
Yeah.
that you need both.
But yeah, I was going to say specifically rural stations, they can get really confusing sometimes. It's like, there's nobody here. How do I even pay for this thing?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, if you want to hear about trains, the Shinkansen specifically, we did a whole episode 85. We can guide you through how that process works and maybe save you some embarrassment or something.
Learn from our embarrassments.
Yeah. Paul, you want to talk about hotels?
Yes.
Which we did a whole episode 5 about those.
Yeah.
That was an early one.
Hotels in Japan are incredible.
Yeah, I got a lot of good adjectives for these too. Cheap, clean, good service, bidet toilets. I've never been in a hotel that didn't have a bidet toilet, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe a hostel I was at once. But like any hotel where I got a private room and bathroom, always a toilet with a bidet.
I feel like even the hostels I've stayed in had bidet toilets. Even a manga cafe that I slept in one night had a bidet toilet.
Nice.
I also want to point out, I've changed the way that I pack a lot throughout my trips to Japan. And I've gotten to the point where I think I'm just not going to bring a toothbrush. Like I try to pack super, super minimally. That's part of it. But I don't think I've ever stayed at any hotel in all of Japan that doesn't give you every free toiletry you could need. A razor, the toothbrush, the toothpaste, combs, Q-tips or cotton buds, I believe they call them in other parts of the world.
Cotton buds?
Yeah.
Okay, that
In
kind of makes
Australia,
sense.
at least, they call them that.
I don't know what Q-tip's supposed to mean anyways.
Yeah, why? Where did the Q come
Is
from?
it like from billiards? It's like a cue. I don't know.
I have no idea.
You're totally right, but I will say I did get burned on our last trip because I didn't bring my electric razor. But by the time I got like settled in and grabbed a razor, my whiskers were too long. And like the single bladed free razor I got was just
Not cutting it.
hurting me. It was not fun.
Oh,
And I
that's too
just
bad.
stopped and just let my beard grow for a couple
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah, that sounds rough. You got to be consistent with that kind of thing.
Right. And I normally never shave that close. So.
Even with the electric ones, well, at least the one. So I got like this really cool little, super compact, like travel electric shaver. But you still got to be pretty consistent. Like if you let it grow a few days, it's going to have trouble. you know?
Yeah. Well, I have a beard now, so I guess I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, let it go.
Just let it get shaggy.
Totally.
My mom picked me up from the airport on this last trip, and she's like, "Oh, your beard's kind of shaggy." And I was like, "I was just on vacation for 7 days. Give me a minute to trim it, Mom, please."
You've trimmed it since then, I
Yeah.
assume. Yeah.
I trimmed it the day after I got back, like I was planning to.
Yeah.
Anyways.
You look like a mountain man.
Come on, Mom.
Is there anything you don't miss about hotels?
Yeah, this is maybe reaching a little bit, but like the lack of trust sometimes.
What?
I've been in hotels before that insist upon holding my passport for me.
Really?
Yes.
I don't think that's
It's
ever happened
not
to me.
super
wait,
common.
Wait. That's not even legal because
Right, because we're supposed to always have our passports on them.
Right.
I think it was that hotel, Edoya or something near Akihabara that we maybe stayed in once on our first trip.
Yeah, I remember that
I think
one.
they kept our passports.
No way. I don't remember ever staying somewhere where they kept my passport. They will always make a copy
of it, yes.
I always remember getting it back.
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
But the other thing is we have run into places where you have to drop off the key at the front desk
Yeah, I don't
when
like
you leave.
that. I don't like that at all.
That seems to make no sense to me. It just makes it more inconvenient it's like they're monitoring us and watching us, like, or if we get back 5 minutes too late and no one's at the desk, what do we do? Like, I don't like it.
That's a good reason to read reviews. If I see a review where somebody's like, they make you leave the key at the desk, I will immediately look for a different hotel. That bugs me.
It's not 100% no-go for me, but I definitely don't like it.
Well, a complaint I have on top of that is, as I've said before on the podcast, I'm an extremely sensitive sleeper. It needs to be cool. It needs to be quiet. It needs to be dark. I've never had a problem with the quiet and dark, partially because I sleep with a sleep mask and earplugs. But I don't like when a hotel doesn't let you control the temperature in your room. Like usually they'll have an AC that you can use, but sometimes they'll lock out the air conditioning option on there at certain times of year. Or, I mean, some places will even like lock the windows and you can't even open the window. And the whole place is centrally heated and it's just too warm in there.
We ran into this 2 or 3 times on our last trip.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
I think part of it was our timing, is we were there at the start of fall, and they had all like just turned off their AC for the year, but it wasn't that cold out yet,
Right.
and it was getting really hot in our rooms,
Yep.
and that was super, super annoying. And that's the one I knew you were going to be on, because you're a super temperature sensitive person.
I am. Dude, I've been talking to people about, people ask me like, how's the new house and stuff? And I keep finding just these little perks.
It's cold.
Little things that make my life a little bit better. And what I love is that the basement is like 10 degrees cooler than the upstairs. So if he is comfortable upstairs and I just can't take, how warm it is, I can sleep down here.
Yeah. I will say I am nice and comfortable. I might have to get a pair of slippers for over here.
I was thinking actually, I was going to get like some sort of inside footwear for all my friends. I'll have
true
to collect
Japanese style.
I got to collect your foot sizes.
Okay. Me and Kevin are both 13, I think.
Do you like Crocs? Because I've really been enjoying wearing Crocs inside.
I've honestly never worn a Croc in my life.
I know, people hate on them because they're so ugly and stuff, but they're so comfortable.
Okay.
It's undeniable.
Okay. I'm at that stage in my life where I don't care about looking cool quite as much.
Yeah. Well, you can also get those little gibbets. You can get Japanese little things to poke in the holes, and
I can finally get pins next time. I never get the pins out of the vending machines because I don't have anywhere to put them.
I didn't even think of that. I feel like the holes might be too big for pins, but
Okay.
but this is like a standard thing. Like you can find these all over the place.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on from hotels.
Yeah.
Let's talk about food. I wish I could eat Japanese food every day. I miss it all the time.
Yeah. You are a massive Japanese food fan.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. The food is delicious in Japan. Everyone knows that. They say an amount of Michelin stars. They have that culture where they just devote themselves to a single dish or type of cuisine for years and years and years and just perfect everything about it.
You know, I think that's a big part of why Japanese food is so famous is that there's so many restaurants there where it's like you don't get a menu with like 50 different things like you do here. You get a menu where this store does this one thing, and they have different sets for like, you know, if you want to eat more or less or have different sides or whatever. But like the main thing that they do, that's the thing that they do, and they've perfected it, and it's all just awesome. You know?
Yeah. I used to work in the restaurant industry, and part of like the, I don't know, like common knowledge of the industry or whatever is like, if you go to a restaurant that's got a million different random things on the menu, it's probably not going to be any good.
Dude, there was a time when when I would hang out with my roommate and watch Kitchen Nightmares all the time. You know that show?
I love that show, dude.
Me too. And that's one of the biggest things he always said is like, you got too much stuff on your menu. You can't do all of this well. You got to pick a few things that you want to do really well.
One person comes in and says, "Don't you have a burger?" And then they add a burger. And it's like, you're an Italian restaurant. Why are you making burgers?
Yeah. But another thing I miss in Japan is just when you're traveling around a lot to different cities, you get all these new foods, local specialties. And I love that. I like being able to just try all this new stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a huge focus on local, seasonal, and fresh in Japanese cuisine.
Totally.
So that is awesome.
Yeah.
Also, very affordable. Like you could just get these nice meals for $6 or something. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like just in general, comparing Japanese food culture to American food culture, the Japanese experience is just more premium feeling, you know? You get the little hand towels at the beginning of the meal, like pretty much everywhere you go. The presentation is always fantastic. You know, they really pay attention to how the food looks and stuff.
Yep.
I also really miss having fresh sushi available everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, you almost can't get much farther from an ocean than we are.
That's true.
Unless you live in the middle of Kazakhstan or something.
Yeah. Oh, man. One thing I didn't think about moving here is that now it's an even further drive to the only Asian market that sells, like, fresh salmon sashimi. I mean, it's, you know, it's
the
frozen,
ones down here
don't
have that?
There's only one that I know of that sells, like, non-frozen sushi-grade salmon.
Yeah.
And if you do buy the frozen stuff, I've noticed that it's never as good as the stuff that they sell, like, thawed.
Sure.
It needs to be fatty. I want to see those lines of white fat. That's how you know it's good.
Sure.
Any complaints or anything you will not miss about Japanese restaurants or food?
Yes. And this one's just personal to me. The fact that there's dashi in everything.
Dashi is like a fish stock kind of thing.
Yes. So
it can technically be made with other non-fishy things.
Yeah, you could do like a
fishy.
seaweed dashi, you know, and I just happen to be vegan. So it's a little bit frustrating when I see like, like seasoned vegetables, like that looks great. And it's got dashi in it. You know, rice ball seasoned with dashi, like drives me a little nuts.
I get it.
But huge seafood focus. So I suppose if you were someone that didn't like seafood, you maybe would have a little bit of problem.
Yeah. I personally can't really say there's anything that I don't miss about restaurants or food in Japan, but just thinking back to my very first trip to Japan, I remember towards the end of my trip, it was like 2.5 weeks, I think. By the end of it, I would like hesitate to go into a restaurant rather than just like go to the konbini or something, just because you might start to feel like fatigued from struggling with the language barrier everywhere you go, you know?
Sure.
You walk into a restaurant and it's like, okay, how is this one going to work? Like, they don't always work the exact same way, you know? So it's like, okay, now I need to try to figure out how to talk to the hostess and be like, oh yeah, can I get a table? And then like, do I need to bus my own table? How do I pay? It can get, depending on your personality, it can get a little stressful sometimes.
Yeah, doing that twice a day for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I suppose another thing that I'll miss that I just thought of is there's so many smaller stores where like the chef's right in front of you and maybe even interacts with you
Yeah.
as they're cooking the meal or as they serve it to you. It's so unusual compared to here where the kitchen's you never see the kitchen. You never see the chef.
Yeah. That makes me think the Japanese experience is just like more real, kind of. Like you get more interaction with the people making your food, and they're using fresh ingredients instead of, bags of frozen stuff that get shipped all over the country, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just a better experience, if I can say that.
It's great. It's great. The next thing that I miss is the walkable cities.
The walkableness.
Yeah, they're so safe. The way that it encourages walking is healthy habits in your daily life.
It's definitely a healthier lifestyle.
Definitely theorize that walking lifestyle has a bit to do with the low obesity rates in Japan.
Without a doubt.
And the cleanliness of the cities, too, is remarkable for how big some of those cities are.
Yeah, yeah. It is amazing that, like, with a city as big as Tokyo, pretty much anywhere you go, like, I don't feel nervous walking around in the middle of the night. Like, I'll cross a bridge, and there's no one else around, and then there's one other person coming down the bridge at me, and it's all dark, and it's like, well, this is Japan, so I have no reason to, like, feel weird about this.
The only way I feel weird is like this person might be scared of me.
Yeah, some big weird foreigner.
Big weird foreigner walking down the street at night. I just put on my goofy smile.
It's a disarming, friendly smile.
There are a couple negatives I got for this though.
Okay.
One is that I don't like people biking on the sidewalk. And they do that a lot in Japan.
Sure.
I think bikes belong on the road. Bikes are moving too fast for the sidewalk. They do have the bells that they ring for you to get out of the way, so at least they warn you.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But I'm not a huge fan of that.
Okay. I mean, I guess I get it. Like, it's a slight inconvenience to have to turn around and be like, oh, where'd that bell come from?
Yeah.
I need to get out of the way.
Not that big of a deal.
But and sidewalks are, wider, I think, in general.
Often, yes.
Yes. Like, that's never struck me as a problem. Thinking about things that I don't miss about Japan, that doesn't make my list personally.
Okay. Another one is an interesting juxtaposition to the remarkably clean cities is the lack of trash bins.
Yeah.
Like I get something at a konbini, and if I don't eat it immediately and throw it away, now I'm carrying this packaged trash around with me for who knows how long until I get back to my hotel at night and throw it away.
That is something you have to get used to. But I find as a tourist, I always have a little bag with me anyway. So like, if I go to the konbini and get a bag of things, I just wrap up all my trash in the little konbini bag and stick it into the bag that I'm already carrying with me, and it's not a big deal.
Fair enough. How about the convenience of Japan?
Well, Paul, Japan's an incredibly convenient place. So many examples. I mean, convenience stores, which we talked about in episode 8, have everything that you could possibly need. Like, you could literally live on the offerings of convenience stores.
And so many of them are open 24/7.
Yep, and they have bathrooms in them.
Yep, they sell alcohol all day if you want a beer at the end of the night.
They're incredibly convenient. They live up to the name.
Yes.
Transportation, incredibly convenient. We already talked about the trains. I mean, even the buses and the taxis and stuff. I prefer the trains personally, but it's all convenient.
As you're walking around all day and you get thirsty, vending machines everywhere. 10 o'clock alarm goes off and Jason needs to take his fiber. Vending machine everywhere.
There you go. Yeah, it's easy to get a bottle of water or whatever. I think even the city planning is convenient. The cities are built around pedestrians. Like they're made to be walkable cities, and that means that things are really convenient for people that live there and for tourists who are walking around a bunch of places.
Yeah. There's a lot of shopping heavily concentrated in the areas you're probably already going to be, like near the station or even in the train station itself.
I mentioned bathrooms in the konbini, but also, I mean, it's not hard to find bathrooms, which I think is great. I work in downtown Minneapolis, and I know of 2 public bathrooms in all of downtown. I just discovered the second one a few months ago. I was very excited about that, although it's very close to the other one that I know about.
Okay.
And they're only there because it's in a public, like a government building.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
like
That would be the only place you'd find one.
Anywhere else in the city, it's like, well, guess we got to walk 10 blocks to get over into the one bathroom I know about, or we can go eat at a restaurant.
Yeah,
like, you have to pay to use.
You gotta
go
spend money somewhere.
Yeah.
I always do that on road trips. You stop at a gas station, and you don't have to, but I'm always like, well, I better buy like a soda or a water because I feel bad that I stopped and used their bathroom.
Yeah. I don't think we should be made to feel bad for being humans and having fluids that we need to get rid of.
Right? Why are we so shamed about our naturally bodily
ridiculous,
functions?
Man.
I do have one slight complaint on the convenience.
Complaining about how convenient things are?
How inconvenient this one is. This is getting better, but the focus on cash culture. There still are a lot of places that only take cash. Even some of like the nicer, smaller restaurants might be cash only, and you got to double check that you've always got a decent chunk of cash in your wallet, or you might be out of luck at some point.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, you can mitigate that by just getting a bunch of cash, but then you also still need to like
you play that
monitor
game.
How much cash you have, and it's like, well, I don't want to spend it too fast, but I don't want to be stuck with a ton of cash at the end either.
Right. I don't want to eat a 4% fee to get the cash and then another fee to turn the cash back into American dollars at the end. Yeah. How about the fantastic politeness of Japanese people and Japanese society? I miss that.
Yeah, me too. Especially, I don't know, like we're American, of course. And honestly, I feel like most people that I meet face to face in my daily life, they're like pretty decent people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's also on the internet and in the media and stuff, you see just people being really, really awful to each other. I think it really depends where you are and the kinds of people you're around. But like in Japan, I feel like just the culture values much more than in America a sense of common decency and respect for your fellow humans.
Yeah. There's just like a greater awareness of like thinking about other people than just yourself all the time.
Like so much of Japanese culture makes a ton of sense viewed through the lens of how do I least inconvenience the people around me?
Yeah, definitely. Like just an example of like riding up an escalator and everyone stands to one side to leave a lane for people that are in a hurry to walk up the other side.
Yeah.
That's just impressive to me because like 19 out of 20 people do that. Yeah, that's so cool, I think.
Yeah. And like at the train stations, everybody lines up, just incredibly orderly. You let people get off and then you stand to the side of the door while they're doing that. And then when everybody's out, then you start heading in.
Yeah.
I saw this really funny video on Instagram recently from a Japanese person that posted like, day 4 of trying to like act like a foreign tourist or something like that. And he's like going up the escalator and he's the only person standing on the wrong side, and he's like wearing sunglasses and not paying attention to anybody around him and just totally oblivious,
Yeah.
So that was funny.
Also just relative good manners, like willingness to apologize and be kind and thoughtful.
And
that does kind of remind me of the Midwest. I feel like you bump into someone on the sidewalk here, you're pretty likely to get, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever been to New York, but maybe like the more stereotype of like bumping into someone, hey, watch where you're going, I
didn't really think of that. It's Midwest culture is similar in that sense that like people are generally pretty polite, I think. But also it's different in the sense that I feel like here people are much more likely to try to start a conversation with a random person on the street. In Japan, it's more like, I realize that we all have our stuff to do and we're like living our own lives and stuff. I'm still going to respect you, but like, I'm only going to interact with you enough to show that I'm respecting you. And then I'm going to go away and do my thing,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just thinking about like moving into this neighborhood, if I'm outside getting the mail and somebody's walking by, they'll just start to talk to me,
Yep.
It's kind of cool. I mean, I don't dislike that at all,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's a neighborhood thing. It's nice
Yeah.
to have a friendly neighborhood.
Yeah.
The part I don't miss isn't that big a deal, but I guess I keep saying that for everything. I gotta stop saying that. But I feel like the pressure, like everyone's acting so well. I really, really don't want to be that guy. Like make the mistake or do something rude, and then like everyone on the train is like, "Oh, that rude foreigner." Like I really want to represent foreign tourists in a good way. So I do have a little bit of like tightness about got to make sure I'm really, really locked in and not being stupid.
You're feeling the threat of the hammer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The nail that sticks up gets the hammer.
Yes, exactly. The pressure to conform.
Yeah.
What else you miss about Japan, Jason?
I miss being able to trust companies to do their job and do it well. In short, customer service.
Yeah.
I've had things like delivered to a hotel that I was staying at. I've had things delivered to the airport for me to pick up. And like that kind of stuff makes me nervous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What if it
absolutely.
doesn't show up right when I show up? What if they like get the mail and they're like, what the heck is this? This isn't for us. And they like throw it away or something, you know? Or when I book things in advance, I just like, it's hard for me to trust companies to do things right. And I'm like, I want to double check and make sure, okay, we got this booking right. Everything's going to be fine. But I've never had anything go wrong in Japan. Like, I remember one time I ordered a pocket Wi-Fi like several months in advance to make sure I got it, you know? And then just before the trip, I emailed the company and was like, hey, just wanted to confirm that like we're all set for this. And like the response I got, it seemed like they were like confused of like, why are you contacting us? Like, of course, you requested the thing. It's going to happen.
It's going to be there. What are you talking about?
That's just how it is. But like lately, you know, moving into the new house, I don't know why I keep bringing up the new house. That's what's going on in my life right now.
It's on your mind.
But, you know, I had to set up internet. It's been a hellish experience, and it still isn't over. Like, they totally messed up my billing, and now it's just this whole thing. I spent hours on the phone with them, and they still haven't fixed everything. Like, that would never happen in Japan.
Yeah.
They take responsibility for their stuff, and they're not gonna, like, send you to some low-level person that can't solve your problem. Like, they just prevent the problems from happening in the first place.
I will say I've heard that there can be some annoying stuff if you like live in Japan because the paperwork
the bureaucracy
side could be a nightmare, but like the customer service is unreal. And I think a good word for it for me is sincerity. Like you don't run into people even at like the lowest paying job that are just like phoning it in. Like everybody's welcoming you when you walk in, like sincerely. And they're doing everything for you and they're thanking you.
I mean, are they really sincere in their hearts?
I don't care. They're making me think that they are.
They make the apprence of sincerity.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's what counts.
Sure.
The appearance.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes for a nice experience when you're existing in Japan. Like everything is pleasant, you know?
Quality products, I think, goes along with trusting.
Yeah.
You know, that you're going to get something that's not just a total piece of garbage.
Totally.
Packaging can be very nice in Japan. They'll gift wrap things up really nice for you. Or if you buy, you know, a teacup or something, they will wrap it up in a really secure way so that you can get it home safely in your luggage.
You could complain about the packaging from a standpoint of environmental concerns.
I was going to.
Okay.
Sometimes they overpackage.
Yeah.
Like plastic, inside plastic, wrapped in a bag. And you're like, was that necessary? Probably not.
Yeah.
But it's quality.
Yeah.
I see where they're coming from.
Can we talk about tipping?
Yeah.
I very much miss not having to tip. You don't tip in Japan. And I don't know about the rest of the world, but in the US, tipping has gotten entirely out of hand. It's absolutely obscene, Paul. It used to be that 15% was like good service, 10% was like, oh, you could have done better, and 20% was like, oh my gosh, this is the best service I've ever had. And now everybody expects 20% minimum. It's insane.
Yeah.
Do I sound like an old person saying that?
No, you're right. Tipping culture is more or less dumb. And like people should just get paid a living wage, you know? Like,
you know what else? It's discriminatory, Paul. more attractive people get more tips, no matter how they act. That's just how it is, and that's stupid. And we shouldn't base our economy around something like that. That's
Right.
insane.
One of the arguments I hear for tipping a lot is that, like, I want to be able to tip good if there's good service, and I don't want to tip well if there's bad service. But I was a server for 4 years, Jason, and people would tell me to my face, you did a fantastic job. This was great. Thank you so much. And they'd leave me 8 or 10% tip. And then there'd be other people that got the wrong food, told me the experience was awful, complained about everything, and they'd leave me 20%.
Well, that's just another example of why tipping is stupid, and it means nothing besides, it's just a measure of how generous a certain person decides to be at a certain moment.
Right. I do like to tip well, partly because I've been in those industries, partly because I just believe that, like, if the job exists, it deserves to be paid well enough to survive.
Do I sound like a bad tipper? Based on what I said, would you assume that I tip poorly?
I don't know, because I know you. I know you do tip well. So I don't know. I'll just put that out there. I know I've witnessed Jason tipping well many, many times.
Thank you.
I don't know where I was going there.
I don't know. It ended with a compliment for me, so I'm fine.
So I would say there are times that I want to tip, though, and you can't in Japan. But that's probably more just like an impact of my, like, psychological trauma of being an American in this tipping culture.
Yeah, you've been conditioned to be a tipper.
I've been conditioned to be like, I need to make sure this person makes good money. And, like,
yeah.
No, they're probably getting paid more than, like, the person doing this somewhere else.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's nice. The price is the price.
As it should be.
Yes.
You should know how much this thing is going to cost. Oh, that's another thing, I guess. I didn't even think of this, but tax, man. I've heard, people around the world look at American taxes, like sales tax, and it's like, yeah, that makes no sense. Like, you don't know how much you're going to be paying until you get to the counter and they tell you a number.
Yeah.
Because the sales tax changes, like, by city.
Americans just have a very unique view on taxation. It's a sore subject here.
It's predatory.
It has been since before the founding of our country.
Like everything else in American culture is predatory.
You could argue that the origins of our country were rebellion against taxing, right? So it's kind of been there the whole time.
But anyway, in Japan, on the shelves, they have the total price of things, including tax. You'll see two numbers. You see the price, and then you see the price with the tax included. And that helps when you just have a handful of coins, And
yeah. It's kind of cool that they have both, too. Because if you're in a city or prefecture, whatever, that has a higher tax rate, it's kind of like the business can be like, oh, our base price is the same as everywhere else. The reason you're paying slightly more is because the government, not me. All right, so let's get into my favorite subject, Jason.
Pooping?
I was going to say toilets.
Oh, sure.
But the toilets in Japan are amazing. We did a whole episode on toilets.
But especially when you're pooping.
Yeah.
The episode was 59, by the way. But yeah, I mean, the bidet toilets, they're famous around the world. I don't know if I've gone into this much detail on my bathroom tendencies on the podcast, but I'm more of a wipes guy than a bidet kind of guy. I don't generally use the bidets in Japan, to be honest. But I really, really appreciate that the toilets in Japan are generally very clean and private. The doors that go all the way to the floor and the ceiling, like, I'm sorry, I'm really having a hard time not just totally bashing America.
That seems like common sense.
It really does. Yeah, I mean, just generally the bathroom experience in Japan is really good.
So, just to give a little bit of perspective on this, we went to the Toto Toilet Museum, Jason. And we used the facilities there. And they had the most advanced toilets in their restrooms.
In the world.
So you walk in, the toilet seat automatically opens for you. You sit down.
It says, hello, Paul. And you say, how did you know my name?
You sit down. It's a heated seat. You've got a noise-making button if you're having a little flatulence and you're conscious of yourself. You have the bidet cleaning features, and they even had an air, like a blow dryer,
the butt dryer.
butt dryer that blew your butt dry at the end.
Cool.
It was just unbelievable.
Very premium experience.
So I will say on the flip side, though, they're getting less common, but what I don't miss is the floor toilets.
Yep, squat toilets can be rough.
They're a little bit tricky.
My legs don't work that way.
I've almost lost my phone in one before, which
I almost ripped a sink off the wall, and I was trying to use it to support myself.
Yeah, right. I need to hold on to something when I'm in that position personally. But also, I'm not used to using them, so I'm trying to be like, am I lined up right? Is this good?
Is this going to land right in my pants?
And then the other thing in bathrooms, you run into a lot of places with no soap and no paper towels.
That's very true.
You buy a handkerchief. Go to Japan, you buy a handkerchief, and you bring it with you so you can dry your hands.
Yeah. Another complaint I have, I don't miss the half-ply toilet paper.
Oh, you're
Transparent toilet paper. No matter how fancy the toilet is, the toilet paper is going to be awful.
Especially if you're using the bidet.
It's just going to disintegrate.
So you're all wet, and then, use the toilet paper. It just melts in your hand, and you're like, oh, okay, that was not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Fingering yourself through the toilet paper.
We ran out of the cheap toilet paper we use in the bathrooms at work once, so we grabbed some off the shelf and put it in there, and we heard from 10 employees we love the new change of toilet paper. That's amazing. And we had to tell them, actually, we're going to buy the other stuff again.
Oh, man, that's a shame.
Yeah. I'll have to bring that up next budget season.
Yeah. Can I go on a tangent for a moment about toilet paper?
Please do.
This is another thing in my life that I'm passionate about.
You're passionate about.
But, okay, here's the thing, though, is I have my preferred toilet paper, But I think even the very first time I tried this toilet paper, it wasn't immediately my favorite toilet paper. It's almost like when you try a new toilet paper, you got to get used to it. And once you learn to use it, it's like, okay.
The learning curve on toilet paper. Never thought about that before.
I'm used to it now. I get it. It just feels right, But then you get something that's, more quote unquote premium, and it's all soft and fluffy, and it's the texture isn't the same anymore.
It can be too soft almost.
You have to use it in a different way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I buy a certain brand of toilet paper.
I want to collect, not smear around.
Totally. Yeah. And I don't want a bunch of little cotton puffs caught in my hair or whatever. Do I need to, is this an explicit, an adult episode now?
Nah, everybody poos.
Okay. But I will not buy any other toilet paper if I can help it. I will use the same toilet paper, the exact same toilet paper for decades.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all, though, because you have a favorite everything. You always take the time to find the best stuff. It's one of your nice qualities.
Is it? I'm not sure it's a good thing. I feel like it makes life, I wish I could just sleep on the ground outside, with the sun out. I feel like it's not great to be picky
Greek
about absolutely
that
everything.
Lived in a barrel or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's not good to be totally inflexible, but I feel like you're how I would be if I had the patience to do all that dang research.
I don't research toilet paper, Paul. I don't go quite that far. I just find something I like, and it's okay, I'm just going to keep doing this.
Okay, fair enough. So one more point on toilet paper here is I know places always get thin stuff because it's cheaper, but you just end up using, instead of 3 squares, I'm using 12 squares.
Right.
So are we even saving any money here?
Exactly. It's that whole thing. I forget what there's a name for it, but that thing about the shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If your shoes wear out every 3 months, but they're cheaper in the long run, you're still spending more money.
Yeah. You may as well just buy a really nice pair of boots and wear them for 10 years.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yep.
Get them resold if you have to.
It's one of those it's the poverty trap where you can only afford the crappiest stuff that you have to replace the quickest.
Totally. Don't look for the cheapest. Look for the best value.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm about.
Yeah, the best value could be anywhere on the price chart.
Right. Oh, other things that I don't miss about the bathrooms. I guess just one thing. Sometimes there are lines. I feel like you don't, at least in the men's bathroom, you don't come across that very often here. Sometimes I see lines at women's bathrooms, but in Japan, in the train stations, like if a bunch of people just arrived, there might be a line for the bathroom, and I don't like that.
I'm not going to say I've never seen that, but I don't think I've rarely had too much of a problem. But I've definitely seen the lines in the women's restrooms.
Can I tell you a story, Paul?
Sure.
Last time I was in Japan, I went to this bathroom. There was a long line. I got to the front of the line. I went to the open stall. It was flooded, man. Water all over the floor. And I don't remember. I think the toilet was clogged or something. So I'm like, well, I can't use this.
And someone just came out of it?
I don't remember all the details.
Yeah,
I would guess so.
Would you go back to the end of the line?
Or would you go back to the end of the line?
No, you should have butted
Paul.
back in front.
I don't know. Too much social anxiety to just, in a foreign country, just be like, nope, I'm at the front of the line again.
Yeah. I hear you.
And then I have to explain to the guy behind me, just go look at the toilet.
The only time I run into the lines is at the Timberwolves basketball games. You know, you try to go at halftime. You better get there quick or there's going to be a line.
They have urinals. They don't, because I haven't been to a sports game in a long time, but I remember like at the Metrodome, which doesn't even exist anymore. They had the troughs.
Yes. Those were the worst, dude.
But at least you could just squeeze in there and you didn't have to wait in line.
Well, you still had to wait in line at the Metrodome.
It's been a long time. I don't remember.
Yeah, but no, everyone universally decided the troughs were awful. That they just have a line of urinals now.
When was the last time you peed in a trough?
Before the Metrodome closed.
I haven't at the Renaissance Festival. Remember?
Oh, maybe I did then. Maybe I did. But they have all the outhouses there too, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I probably did. So tangentially related to bathrooms, I guess, is onsen.
Sure.
Hot spring baths.
Yeah, I really miss being naked around strangers. That's like one of my favorite things.
Well, I guess I don't miss that, but
it's freeing,
I definitely miss the bath.
At first, it kind of feels like I'm doing something wrong. Am I going to get arrested or something? And then you just let it all hang loose, and it's like, all right.
Yeah, I've gotten over that. I'm used to that. Like, it doesn't bother me at all.
This is how people are supposed to live.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
I'm glad I got over it because, I got the eye surgery a few years ago, and now I can, see.
You can see other
part
people
of what
better
made
when they're walking around
me
naked.
not be uncomfortable when I was younger is because I always took off my glasses and I couldn't see anything. So I was not seeing anybody's naked bits, not, nothing was in focus for me.
Wait, sorry, what is the point here that made you less comfortable?
That made me more comfortable.
Oh, okay.
When I first started going to Onsen, or I went to Korea once and did the public bath thing. And take off the glasses, I can't see anybody.
You can't see if anyone's eyes are focused on you.
Yeah, I'm not staring because I can't see anything anyway. Nothing's catching my eye.
And now you're so tempted to stare.
No, now I'm just used to it. It doesn't bother me at all, and I just act normally.
That's good. That's probably the right way to act.
But onsen are so incredibly relaxing, so comfortable.
Onsen are really great.
If you can get one at your hotel, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Or if you're shy, you can even rent a private one or get a private one in your room.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like some people might gravitate towards the private onsen because it's it's private, You don't have to worry about being naked in front of strangers. But I would really recommend looking for an onsen that has a really nice atmosphere, which generally aren't the private ones. The private ones are usually pretty small and indoors, and maybe there's a window you can open or something. But the really good ones are the ones where it's a grotto kind of thing.
Yeah,
where you're surrounded by rocks and
they're big
nature.
And they're landscaped, and they might be open air.
I feel like it's
open air onsen are where it's at.
I want to be outside.
Yeah,
in the onsen. Did I mention episode 42 was the onsen episode? If you want to hear more about those, and we explain the whole process and how you don't embarrass yourself.
Yeah, just think when you're there. Everybody is here to get naked and bathe. So if you're not freely doing that, that's actually drawing more attention to yourself.
Yeah. Just be comfortable. Just go around introducing yourself, shaking hands.
Slap them on the back.
That's a joke. Just ignore other people. That's my advice.
Yeah. Just do your thing. The one downside I would say is the tattoo taboo. There's still a lot of places that are not tattoo friendly.
It is too bad.
But I'm pretty sure I've bathed in a few onsens that if you looked at their website, they would say no tattoos and nobody ever said anything to me. I'm not saying that'll never happen, but you might get away with it.
I mean, I've never been kicked out of an onsen or anything.
Right. Right.
I usually research them beforehand anyway, so.
Oh, what do you got next, Jason?
I miss the way that Japan's history is intertwined into daily life. America's a relatively young country, and I mean, there's some cities that, really celebrate their history. Like when I lived in Boston, they got all those statues around and all these plaques talking about historic places and stuff. But in a lot of the country, you don't really get a sense of a connection to the past. And in Japan, there are the temples and shrines scattered all over the place, even just really little ones. They could be stuck in between a couple stores or whatever. When you're hiking, even in the woods, you'll see little statues of bodhisattvas and stuff.
Yeah.
There are all sorts of historic sites all over the place. Every city has its own history that it celebrates with all of these, special little attractions and stuff. And for me, seeing that stuff just helps ground me, takes me out of the worries of modern life. Just reminds me that there's more to the world than what's going on right now. We're part of humanity, this species that goes back so far, and I just think it's really cool. Just kind of be constantly reminded of that,
Yeah. It's just so regular and normal to come across. Oh, this is an 800-year-old shrine, or this is a 1,200-year-old temple. The amount of time that is staggering.
Mm-hmm.
I like the lax drinking rules. The fact that you can openly drink in public and not get hassled for it or get a ticket.
Yeah,
I think that's cool.
I miss Strong Zero.
I miss a lot of the drinks.
Yeah. If you want to hear about alcohol in general, we did an episode 17 all about kind of drinking culture and how it intertwines into overall Japanese culture.
Yeah, the only thing I suppose I don't like about this is when people overdo it and you get the walking early in the morning and find a street pizza.
Do you feel like that's something you've seen a lot?
I've seen it 2 or 3 times maybe.
I mean, yeah, it's affected me so little that it wouldn't even come to mind as something that I don't miss about Japan.
Okay.
To me, even if I see a street pizza, that just means that somebody had a really good night last night.
Or a really bad one.
Yeah.
Or a good one until a bad one.
You never know.
Sure.
Oh, going back to the, respecting others and stuff. Have you ever seen somebody passed out on the sidewalk surrounded by bottles of water?
No.
Yeah. Isn't that considerate? People just leave a drink, when you wake up, you're probably not going to feel very good. Here's some water for you.
Oh, that is thoughtful.
Yeah. And it keeps the cats away.
Does it?
I don't know, but that's the thing in Japan too. People leave water bottles around to, I'm pretty sure the purpose is to scare cats away, the light refracting through the bottles.
Okay.
Let me Google this. Maybe I'm misremembering or something, but I swear I've heard that. Have you seen just little collections of water bottles randomly scattered around the city?
I have, yes. And I suppose I've always wondered what those were exactly doing there.
Google says, in Japan, plastic water bottles placed along fences and gardens serve as nekoyoke, or cat repellent. This tradition, which originated in the West, aims to deter stray cats using reflections or distorted images in the water.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay. I learned something.
Did you watch any of Shikanoko?
No.
The deer anime?
Oh,
we talked about it.
I watched one episode.
Yeah. Well, I just watched an episode the other day where the deer girl was all terrified of bottles of water.
Okay.
She was surrounded. She was freaking out.
That must have been cute.
Yeah. It was a fun show.
So I know that we both miss hiking in the nature of Japan.
Oh, man. I miss it so much, Paul.
It's just such a gorgeous landscape. There's so many great places to hike everywhere you go.
I just love getting out in nature.
And I got absolutely no negatives to this one.
Yeah, me either. I feel blessed that I have like some nature walking paths around here, but we don't have anything that even starts to compare to Japan. Like you'd have to drive hours and hours away.
True, but we've also been all over Japan. Like we've hiked in tall mountains, we've gone around active volcanoes, we've been along the sea, we've
Yes,
been all
but
over the place.
but most of Japan is mountains. So like any
Yes,
city you're
right.
in,
You're right.
you get outside of the city, you're going to have tons of hiking you could do. Here, you get out of the city, you could walk through cornfields. That's all you got.
I mean, there are a number of national and state parks, but you gotta go find them.
I mean, what's the closest one? Hours away?
No,
I mean, there's probably
No.
technically
What?
sure, there are state parks closer, but they're not like big, pretty ones like in Japan.
okay.
I don't know. What is the nearest state park? You're thinking like
I
Fort
don't.
Snelling, isn't that a state park?
I don't know which ones are state and which ones are
Yeah. I mean,
county.
there's some cool paths along the rivers and stuff.
I think Afton might be a state park.
Yeah, maybe. I've never really been hiking there. I've only been snowboarding there. Have you been there in the summer?
Yes, I've hiked it. I've played the golf course there too,
I didn't even know there was a golf
which
course.
is kind of crazy because it's like on such a hill.
To be fair, I should probably explore the local area more before I start talking too much crap about
Yeah,
it.
I think I'll say there's a lot of good hiking around here. There's just not mountains.
Yeah. Well, I really like the mountains
Yes,
personally.
yes. So if you like that, you're not going to get it here.
Yeah. Those adventure cards have been really fun, though. I told you about that, right?
Yeah. Have you guys been working through those?
Dude, for Yia's birthday, we went curling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking actually of inviting you and the guys to go curling one day. They just have like it's like pub curling they call it. It's not actually on ice and you don't scrub the ice or whatever.
Okay.
It's basically just like shuffleboard, but with these curling stone
But with
kind
your
of things.
hand.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it was really fun, and like they have a little bar next to it
That sounds fun.
and little tables. It's just like a fun, unique thing to do.
I'd be in.
Cool. We should do it. What else do you miss about Japan?
I only got one topic left.
Okay.
And I just think the cities there are a lot of fun. Like they do city life well.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is there's just a lot of fun to be had if you're trying to have a good time. Like you're going to be able to find an arcade or a karaoke box or maybe a batting cage. There's izakayas everywhere. There's a lot of lively, fun areas, fun things to do. I like it. I always enjoy my time.
Me too. Yeah, it really is impressive how like their entertainment districts are just so packed full of things to do.
Yeah. I think it just comes with the walkable cities, the density, the public transportation. It just makes it easier to like cram more fun things in a smaller area.
Yeah. And it's also easier for really unique businesses to pop up.
It
Like-
must be easy to start a business in Japan. I shouldn't say easy. It's never easy to start a business, but the fact that there's so many small businesses in Japan.
We should look into that because, I think a big part of it is the population density. Like, there's so many potential clients around that any type of business can survive if they, reach the right people or whatever. But like, I don't want to keep comparing everything to here, but like, I just think of this place downtown that I think is a really cool idea for a business. It's called Bad Axe something, and their whole thing is like axe throwing. Like you can go and throw an axe, which I think is like a fun, interesting idea for a business,
Yeah.
But there just aren't enough people around interested in that kind of thing. So every time I walk by there, it's closed, and it's like, if you want to come here, make an appointment.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like they're surviving, but I can't imagine they're doing very well.
Sure.
But I bet in Tokyo, something like that, you're going to find people that are interested.
Yeah.
Out of the millions of people in Tokyo.
The only downside I got to the city life is that I wish there was a little bit more like green space and parks sometimes. So
Sure.
It's a little bit pavement heavy.
I mean, I feel like you don't need to go all that far usually to get to a park of some sort.
Well, this might be one where I'm spoiled because I'm pretty sure last year that St. Paul and Minneapolis were ranked number 1 and 2 in the country in like parks and recreation.
Wow.
For big cities.
Hmm.
Like there's literally one within like a 5-minute walk from every single house in St. Paul.
Wow.
you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. One thing I really miss about the city life in Japan is the stray cats.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things you could say about that. You know, maybe that's not the best thing to have a bunch of stray cats wandering around, but I think it just adds a little bit of whimsy to your life when you're just walking around. It's like, hey, it's a friendly kitty. Oh, this one's real friendly. It's going to walk up and rub against my leg and let me pet it and everything.
It was kind of fun finding the like slightly ashy cat on Sakurajima volcano.
Yeah.
You know?
I like that. I don't know. It just makes life a little more interesting, you know?
Yeah. I know every time you see a cat, you stop and admire.
Yeah. We just have rabbits and squirrels around here, and they won't let me pet them.
True. You got anything else?
I miss leaving behind my daily life for a while. Honestly, I don't know. Being in Japan, part of it is escapism. You know, you get to leave behind all of your responsibilities in life and just focus on having the best time you possibly can.
Yeah.
I guess that's an obvious thing, but that's what I live for, you know? I live to get away from my daily life.
I live for those 3 weeks a year where I'm not in the grind.
Yeah. And the weekends when I can now come home and sing my heart out whenever I want. Because I got my man cave.
Yep. I see your taiko drum here. I see your racing simulator.
Dude.
That looks pretty cool.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I'm sure you're having a good time over here.
Yeah. Yeah, work sucks, man.
Speak for yourself.
Really? You really enjoy your job?
I do. I mean, it's not 100% great. I only wake up feeling like going to work 90% of the time.
I'm really happy for you.
Thank you. I'm happy for myself, too.
I'm making some moves in my career to try to get to a better place.
Yeah. I mean, one of my major goals in life has been not hating my job. So I've purposely gone down that path.
Yeah, I think that's very important. You know,
I agree.
If it's possible, you should enjoy as much of your life as you can. And when you spend so much time working,
I do still think I work too much. I'm a big believer in the 4-day work week.
Oh, yeah.
I think 4-3 is just a better balance. Like, even though I like my job, it tires me out and wears me down. And then, like, I spend my first off day just recovering, basically. And then my second off day, I feel like I'm doing chores, or I'm either that or I'm not doing my chores and I'm having fun, and then I don't do my chores.
3-day weekends.
I feel like one more day would be perfect.
Yeah, 3-day weekends are perfect. Yes,
Yeah.
that's the word.
Yeah.
Have you been seeing anything lately popping up about Japan transitioning to a 4-day work week?
I saw like one article, but like I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I haven't really dug into it to see how much there is to that. I mean, I'm sure it's not just like the whole country is like, okay, everybody, 4-day work week.
Right. I didn't dig into it. It could be just like a memo from a government agency saying, maybe we should do this. And then like nobody does it. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah.
It's environmentally a good impact.
Maybe we should do another, remember we did like current events episode one time. We should do that again.
Yeah, I'm down. Very down. Maybe for Patreon. That might be a good Patreon episode.
Yeah, it could be. Well, it's kind of time specific.
Yeah. So we got a number of active patrons.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
That's all I got.
That's it?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, before we go, we should thank our Shogun level patrons. Nicholas McKibben, Kevin Harris, Michael Morris, Brady K, Jack, Tori, Shaked Rosenthal. By the way, Paul, I got to say this. You remember Shaked, of course.
Of course.
And he was so nice to send us that game.
Yeah.
Which has earned
I saw it over there.
Yeah, it's got a place of honor on my game shelf there. He also recently sent me a wedding gift / housewarming gift.
Really?
Yeah, you want to see what it is?
Yes.
I'm so excited. And I'm sorry that...
Are you going to finish the names
it's
first?
It's just for me. That's probably a good idea. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail that. Alexa Gonzalez, Pamela Arola, Kevin Phillips, Francian Matias, Kelly Ardong, Dennis Pearson, and Robin Moore. Thank you so much. We appreciate every single one of you, even though I totally derailed it when I got to Shaked. I'm sorry about that. I love you all.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So Paul, you want to see what Shaked got me?
Yes.
Dude,
What do you got? You're like hiding under your shirt? What do you got there?
It's a surprise. He's so good at gift giving, man. I really admire that, honestly. Like, he picks the perfect things. Just look at this. Just look at it, Paul.
That does actually look really cool.
Isn't that cool?
Garden building blocks. This is not actually a Lego? Or is this a Lego?
It's not Lego brand, but it's
Okay.
like a similar kind of thing. It's like a little diorama.
It's like Lego but Japanese.
Yeah, it's like a Japanese garden with
Yeah.
a little
The cherry tree
little
looks
bridge
really
and
cool,
everything.
Dude, that's sick.
And that's going to get a place of honor in my display case.
Oh, okay, I was
here,
going to
right-
ask where are you going to put it?
with Miku, of course.
In the lit up display case right next to your desk.
I'm so excited to put this together.
Yeah, dude, I want to see that. You doing that right away tomorrow or Saturday when you're putting that together?
Maybe.
Next time I'm over here, I'm going to see that?
You might. It's hard to tell looking at it, like how much work it's going to be, you know?
I think it's going to be a bit of work.
Yeah.
That looks like a lot of pieces. But it looks like it's going to be fun, though.
Yeah, for sure. I like this kind of stuff.
It's like
Anyway.
a puzzle, but like way better.
Yeah, it's a 3D puzzle.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thank you, Shaked. I really appreciate that. Very thoughtful.
Yeah, thank you, Shaked, for making my buddy smile.
I am smiling. Well, hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you learned some things that maybe helped you prepare for your trip. Or maybe you're just reminiscing about a trip that you went on.
Yeah.
Thinking about these
What
things too.
do you miss? What did we miss that you miss?
Yeah, let us know. We'd love to hear it. And, we always like getting emails, and maybe we'll read them on the podcast in the future.
Do any of you have some valid criticisms of things you don't miss in Japan, or are we all just 100% weebs?
Tell us your horror stories. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, feel free to go on the Discord under the episode discussion for this one.
Yeah, let us know.
I'm interested to see what you all think. Did we cover all our bases here?
Yeah, check out the Discord. That's really fun. Seeing the conversations that pop up there. You can find the link to that in the show notes. Paul, I honestly don't even remember. What are we talking about next time?
Long awaited, exciting episode.
For us or for listeners?
I think for listeners and maybe us. Japanese street food.
Oh, I think that'll be really fun.
Yes, relevant to every single person that goes to Japan.
I love street food. And different places have their own special street food.
Yep. Like everything else with food, Japan does it well.
And I can reminisce about all the delicious food I've eaten on the streets.
Tornado potato.
Did you ever have one of those?
Not last time we were in Japan, but I have.
Oh, I don't think I've had one of those. Oh, man. I remember that sweet potato that I had on Sakurajima.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be fun. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.